Let's start with St. Ignatius and Mentor, perennial powerhouses. Wildcats coming off a tough one, a pick six under 3 minutes to go, and that's how they lost to Springfield down Dayton way.
Yeah, and to back that up just a little bit more, they were up 10. So Springfield had just scored. They kicked off, and then that's when Ignatius threw the pick six. So it was a 14-point swing in under a minute. They drove down to the 20. They weren't able to convert, just ran out of they didn't run out of time, but they lost on fourth down. So, but let's look at the positives, Dave. They got a workhorse right there, Marty Lenahan, 20 carries, 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Their front seven played very well, led by defensive ends Will Robinson and Peter Shalhoub. And they defensively, they held Springfield to only 45 yards rushing. They also had the ball for twice as long as Springfield. 39 minutes was the time of possession for Ignatius. But they've got to answer some questions in the passing game, and they've got to have all three phases tight going into Mentor, because Mentor dismantled Camp McKinley down at the Hall of Fame Stadium 49-7. Now, McKinley is, in all fairness, a program in turmoil. They're dealing with some off-season issues. Antonio Hall is getting them going in the right direction, but it's a tough ask to go up against Mentor in week one. All Mentor did was score in their first 4 possessions. Junior Jacob Snow, making his second career start, completed his first 8 passes, 3 of those for TDs. And of course, you've got Brennan Vernon, Benny LaDuca on the defensive line with linebacker Aiden Fellows. So here's the matchup this week, Dave. These traditionally strong, multiple wide receivers from Mentor. This year, they've got Michael Norwood and Evan Harper. They both had 2 touchdown catches last week. How are they going to do? How do they match up against the defensive backs of St. Ignatius? We know that the front seven for Ignatius, they can hold the run. They did it against Springfield. But can they stop Jacob Snow and the receivers going out there? And I think that's where the game's going to be decided.
Yeah, and again, you mentioned Jacob Snow played really well. He came in that state semifinal game against Pickerington Central and was impressed with his toughness, picked right up, and it looks like the Cardinals have another good one playing quarterback.
Well, 516 yards of total offense. That's pretty good for a quarterback. It sounds like a typical Mentor team. And I couldn't agree with you more, Dave. We had a chance to call that game against Pick Central, and his toughness stood out. And it also, when he came out of the second half locker room, he was like, okay, I've done this 100 times. I don't care what the stage is. I'm going to come out and ball. And that's exactly what he did. So everybody who plays Mentor this year, they're going to face an unnecessarily early mature player in Jacob Snow.